How we doing, FES? What? How are we doing? Better. Welcome, class of 2017. Welcome, friends and family, staff and faculty, and all of those who have come to honor our graduates. Welcome to those who may not be physically with us right now, but who have supported us on our journey here. My name is Nikola, Alexandre, and I'm incredibly honored to be speaking to you this afternoon. As I begin, I want to acknowledge the Quinnipiac peoples, the American Indian community upon whose land we have built our community. It fills me with pride and humility to look out over all of your smiling faces. Look around you, see those smiles reflected off of your neighbors. Congratulations, FES. You have survived an apparently endless barrage of assignments, funding applications, awkward group projects, and styrofoam guilt. Definitely the worst. You've organized world-class symposia, participated in the drafting of national policies, fought for community rights, stabilized riparian zones, cooked veggie potlucks, and engaged in endless hours of research that will, one day, change your field, even if you don't quite believe it yet. You have done so much, but this, all of this, was the easy part. Many of us are still finding our purpose, our game. We will soon have our official Yale degrees and be graduates of one of the best environmental institutions in the US. There are so many directions for each one of us to take, and that can be scary. I've changed degrees 3 times and added on an extra master's in my time here, so I know how difficult the appeal of those directions can be. But as Yale graduates, we have immense privilege, so much so that we take this opportunity, the ability to determine the direction of our destinies, often for granted. As we close one chapter of our lives and begin another, I'd like to offer some thoughts on direction and on purpose. And I'll begin with a memory. On November 8th, the night of the US election, I was curled up on my couch with many of you watching the results come in. I know a lot of us spent that night with our community, sharing living rooms, kitchens, floors, each other's company. It took a few days for the meaning of that night to settle in. And as it did, I began to accept that there was something, many things in fact, that were deeply wrong with this country, with this world, with the ethics and values that underline the compromises we are willing to make. One of the people I admire most at this school, Adrian Salazar, is somewhere in the crowd. While standing at this very spot last year, spoke of a clarion call echoing out across the world, asking us to take action. He spoke of the fading honeybees and coral reefs, of the displaced communities, of the poisoned children in our backyards. We are all smarter and wiser than we were last year, but our time here is wasted if it is only used to make ourselves more comfortable and not to take on this call to action. The US presidential election and its aftermaths. Systemic, state-sanctioned violence against women, against immigrants, against people of color, and against science. The ongoing violation of American Indians and their rights on their own land. The bombings in Afghanistan. These and many other events all add to what nature and many communities excluded from the national dialogue have been telling us for decades, if not centuries. And they're telling us that the way we have chosen to live our life as a society is not honoring our world, our communities, our children, our lovers, or our souls. We have been given all the warnings we need. We truly have no more excuses. As we go into this world and look for direction, I challenge you to use this immense privilege, the privilege of your education, of the ability to see what is happening around you, to keep fighting the hard fight. We have some tough choices ahead of us, and I know many of us yearn for the comfort of a steady job, of a reliable life. But to look away from what is happening around us and to keep resting on the systems that have allowed us to get this far, often to the detriment of others, is no longer acceptable, if it ever really was. James Baldwin once wrote, quote, "Any real change implies the breakup of the world as one has always known it, the loss of all that gave one an identity, the end of safety." Perhaps we can find direction in those opportunities that challenge us to use the gifts we've been given to build a world where all can thrive, instead of just a few. Let's not simply keep the machine running for the sake of what is comfortable and what is familiar. Instead, let us look for those moments where, with an inquisitive mind and a love of facts, we can dismantle those systems that are failing to create a safe world for all of us. When faced with a choice between what is comfortable and what is needed, I would like to see us use our immense talents to plant, grow, and nurture something new. Now, you, fellow students and colleagues, have asked a queer black man who regularly wears high heels and makeup to your parties to deliver your commencement address. And this as you graduate from an institution that is currently unable to support, at a systemic level, the kinds of thoughts, actions, and people needed to radically upset and disrupt the status quo. You, colleagues, and family are the future. The world of tomorrow will look like what you choose to plant and nurture today. I see in each of you the strength to regrow forests, to replenish the oceans, and to rewild our hearts. When you give yourself over to this work, carry it out with passion, with humility, and with an unwavering, radical resolve to make this world into something more beautiful than it was when you entered it. I leave you with one final wish, and that is to honor and stay connected to each other. Reach out and hold on to each other just for a moment. In one moment, we're going to graduate. In another moment, we are going to fling ourselves to the far corners of the earth. Remember that you are part of a larger whole that will lift you up and support you wherever you are. The work we have chosen to take on is immense. No single one of us will be able to achieve it alone, nor will we be able to complete it within the course of our lifetime. We must reach to each other across geography and through time, draw strength from those who came before us, and help up those who are coming after us. Community, this one here, the ones you brought with you today, and the ones you will go out to grow, are what form the bedrock of our lives. I am so honored and proud to count myself one of your classmates, and I cannot wait to see what beauty we plant and nurture together. Thank you, and congratulations, class of 2017!